morning, everyone. Welcome back to more of our life beginnings and all. Is it delayed from like my reaction? Yeah. All right, then we start. Um, Cove. So right now we're out. Hang. You grabbed a large beach towel from off your bed and stuffed it into a bag. You had already packed your water bottle for your upcoming beach hangout session. The stars had aligned, and somehow everyone was free today. Miranda had set things up, with several bubbly phone calls between you, Cove, and Terry to find a time to hit the beach. We're hoping that this. What? Wait, wait. You were hoping that this would be a fun time together. Does my mic sound? I think my mic just sounds weird. Wait. Okay. It might be better now. I don't know. It sounds weird for me, but okay. If you say there's not much different, then there's not much difference. Um, I didn't want him to have long hair. I like short hair on guys. Sorry. So yeah, I changed his hair. But other than that, Cove sat on your windowsill and kicked one of his legs into the air idly. He had already had his swimsuit on, and his towel was bundled under his arm in a misshapen. He had shown up earlier that morning with a surprising amount of enthusiasm. He was chatting as you caught up to his preparation. But seriously, I couldn't find my swimsuit this morning. I looked everywhere. It had disappeared. I had no idea what I was. Hmm, you could have just gotten a new one, no? Or I'm sure you have other ones, no? I know that's not your only one. Let me let me make sure. Make sure. It's pissing me off. Okay. Cove looked away.
Hmm.
I might have some laundry to do. I see. I don't. I thought after swimming, especially after. Anyways, I don't know why it was in the bathroom when I never put it there. He gave a small smile and readjusted the towel in his arms. You now could see that it had been folded at some point, then rolled up and carried without much care.
I'm so glad.
I'm just glad I found it. It would have been crappy to lose my favorite. Hmm. It was nice to see Cove so happy and comfortable in what he was wearing. He walked over to your dresser and mused about how you had picked out your own. Your height had complicated shopping a little. Not all suits were made to properly fit people like you. And then for the shape of your body. It is the shape of my body. Oh, I guess. Would I count as chubby or heavy set? I'll just do heavy set, just to be sure. And, mm, I have a little muscle, I'd like to think. Your build was toned and firm. Okay, not definitely not toned and firm. I am Okay, with muscles that were there, though slight in size. Okay, that's not me. You had kept mostly the same shape you had to throughout your teenage years. You were used to your body, and your body was used to your habits.
Are you okay?
You alright? Ah, yeah, I was thinking about some things. No, I really can't adjust with this voice. Wait. Is this better? Maybe? Mayhaps? Hopefully? Sorry, I'm just very particular about how my voice sounds like. It really feels. Not really. Not really. It really sounds weird for me, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm crazy. Okay, final adjustment. Look, if it doesn't sound right, then okay, whatever. Oh yeah, I was thinking about some things. What things? Just myself. So his eyebrow rose at your admission of self-reflection. And what do you think? What did you think of who you were? You considered your I have always being called her was right by you. And oh, my boobs? Um, do I count? What is my boobs? Well endowed? Well, your boobs were a larger part of your frame. Not really, because I'm a big girl. Um, um, well, I wouldn't get a reduction, but I do wish they were smaller, and I do use binders sometimes. So I'll just say I like the size that I have. People had a lot of their identity wrapped up in their physical form. It's okay. Your body was you, and it was a good one that you felt content in. You used to not feel as good when you were younger, but you had since grown into your body. You felt more at home now and less uncomfortable. You focused on Cove again. He smiled at you and tilted his head, a question still in his eyes. He was waiting for you to come to an answer, but before you could, you had something to say to him. What do you think about me? About how I look, I mean. Cove smirked a little, his eyes taking you in easily. Fishing for compliments, baby? You look great. Everyone knows that, including you, by the way. Unless that. Mm, I didn't want a compliment, I was just asking. Fine. Cove shook his head. His hand went up to try to unsubtly cover his smile. I was kind of worried you were so in your head, 'cause something was wrong. Guess not.
Hey,
I'm sorry, I can't. Could it be that this is my mic? Sometimes my mic settings likes to change on their own and then I'm left to figure out the pieces. Is this what? This is my mic, I think. Yeah! Yeah, this is how I sound like. Okay, finally. Okay, yeah. Cove gave a bent smile, pointing to your arms. You're looking particularly toned today. It's... You answered not with words, but a solid okay sign with both hands and the same cheeky smile. Cove suddenly flushed when he realized how boldly he had complimented you. He stood by it, even if he was a little red. You were a little taken aback. That had came out of nowhere. You glanced at yourself. I didn't know you liked my arm so much. Yeah? I would absolutely start flexing. You posed dramatically. You shut off your guns, fighting laughter. First the right, then the left. You then flexed both of your arms and widened your stance in a stereotypical strong pose. Cove turned bright red and jumped to his feet. His towel dropped to the ground as he practically flew over to you. He looked at your arms and then tried to gently nudge them back down. Why? You don't like my guns? Yeah, you can stop now. Really? He laughed nervously and flailed a little. You took pity on him and stopped displaying yourself. You had gotten the reaction you wanted. He retreated back to sitting on the windowsill and retrieved his towel, head hung low to try hiding his expression. Finally, you felt that was enough of the topic one day. For one day, you went back to your original goal before you got sidetracked. You needed to pick what you wanted to wear to the beach. If I wear a Speedo, won't my boobs just be out? I feel like one pieces are cute. While you dug around in your drawers, you tried to think if there was anything else you were missing. I would wear a regular shirt as well. With that taken care of, you held your outfit together and looked to Cove. He was tapping his toes on the sides of the walls as he waited. You vaguely wondered if he thought that was a comfortable place to sit. You hoped so, given how long he had perched on it. Regardless, it was time for him to go. You weren't going to put on your beachwear with him just chilling there. I need to change. Cove smiled, content with being kicked out. Alright. Cove lowered himself off the window and strolled past you to get to the door. Lightly brushed his pink fingers against your cheek when you passed by. Okay. Oh, what?
Bye.
I'll see you out front. Okay. And you were alone. You got undressed and put your swimwear on. You also checked your beach bag for the final time, and it seemed like you hadn't forgotten anything. You left your room and hurried down the stairs, ready to meet Cove. You made sure to lock your front door and walked outside. Cove stood on the road, looking down and scuffing his feet on the asphalt. When you shut your heavy door, he looked up at you and smiled. Nice to see you again. Hi, Miranda and Tara are gonna be here in not too long. Tara even texted me earlier saying she was mostly on schedule.
Well,
why don't we just head to the beach and wait for them there? We're both ready. That sounded like a good idea to you. You said as much, and Cove shot off a quick text telling the two of them where you'd be. Cove gave you a thumbs up after the message sent. It was a familiar path to walk, and it wasn't long until you reached the shore. Cove laid out his towel on the warm sand. You set up your stuff beside him and looked out into the ocean. The rolling swells hit the shore rhythmically. Rhythmically? Yes, words hard. You had it all locked out. It was a beautiful day. The sky was clear and the waves were good. It was a balmy summer day, but with a pleasant breeze to keep things comfortable. Essentially, it was perfect.
So?
Do you feel like heading into the water? Maybe just walk down the shore. Or would you want to do something here? What do you want to do? Maybe I'll walk a little. At first, anyway. We can do that then. Cove nodded, accepting of the plan. He kicked some sand off his towel absent-mindedly. Yeah, sounds nice. You took a deep breath and tasted the relaxing salty air. Cove caught your eye and gave you a small smile. You chatted a little before a comfortable quiet settled over the two of you, content to watch the waves as you waited for the others. Luckily, it didn't take long until you heard shouts. You turned your head to see both Miranda and Terry running straight to them. Miranda was faster, making leaps and bounds across the sand. Terry followed in her wake, laughing with her towel clutched around her shoulders and flowing like a cape. Miranda started making her jumps, more theatric, and more precarious as she got closer. Cove waved them on with a bright grin. I would wave too. Terry tried to wave with both hands while running, one for you and Cole, but she was distracted and lost her balance, nearly falling, laughing all the while. Oh my god, cute dress! Who was that, Miranda? Cute dress. The two officially arrived at Cove's and your setup, looking completely ready for an ocean adventure. They were already in their swimwear and were raring to go. Hey Terry, Miranda, welcome to our day.
Hey!
Hello. She beamed and Miranda nodded with a smile.
Oh yeah!
Man, I am so pumped. Yeah, I am really glad this worked out. What have you guys been up to over here in your town? Cove? Where? Have you missed things? Cove blinked and then shrugged when nothing he wanted to mention came to mind. What have you been up to?
Oh,
The usual. Terry laughed and mentioned a few things about her own parents. Miranda brought up her family and shared some of the wild things her older brother had done. Terry then started talking about her morning and how she had almost overslept since she had stayed up too late last night. She buzzed on her feet as she spoke. Don't worry about me being tired today. You know I ran on less back during school. Miranda filled in the group about her morning. Apparently, everything had gone smoothly. She had met up with Terry on the way here, and you know the rest. Cove offered a suggestion to the girls. Hey, let's walk while we catch up.
okay.
Yeah, definitely. Once everyone's stuff was settled on the beach, the group strolled over to the shoreline. The wet sand was cool under your feet. A wave rushed up and covered your ankles in water. You flinched from the suddenness of it, but by the next wave you were acclimated. You took another step forward and sank a little into the ground. Behind you, your footprints were soon smoothed by the waves. Your friends chatted as you all walked together. You took turns pointing out cool shells or pieces of sea glass. It was a relaxing jaunt. Hours passed, and the group had moved between different activities, some low-key and some more exhaustive. For you, it was another break time. Sat on your towel and sipped at some water. Your friends were hard at work burying Terry's full body under a pile. Miranda used her arms to force sand up around Terry's sides. Cove worked on covering Terry's feet. Take another drink and close your eyes. We could not be bothered at the slightest. Wait, I think it might be okay. Eventually, a shadow passed over you, dampening the light that was still notable even behind your eyelids. Checked to see Cove had joined you there. He knelt down to dig around in a pile of assorted beach stuff in the middle of everyone's towel setup and pulled out the sunscreen. Is it not too late for sunscreen if we've been here for hours? Eh? I think you should do that, at the start. He took a seat next to you on his towel. He opened the bottle with a soft pop and began to reapply the cream. Hey. He ran his hand across his chest to work the sunscreen in, and you might have checked him out a little from the corner of your eye, while still sipping on some water. After he finished up, Cove let out a comfortable sigh and looked off into the distance. Then he sighed again, this time in an exaggeratedly disappointed way. You wonder if he was going to sigh again, even more dramatically if you didn't say anything. Silly man. I will raise an eyebrow. Raise a questioning eyebrow. You made it half as dramatic as Cove's expression, and he had to stifle a smirk. Cove shook his head, comically despondent. His frown didn't match the sparkle in his eyes.
Don't worry about it.
I'm just becoming another jaded adult. That's all. No, you were really confused. You waited for him to continue, and his next sigh did not disappoint. It was the most ridiculously sad sigh you had ever heard. Then he smiled a little. Mermaids aren't real. What? That had not been what you were expecting. He continued. You know how much I liked mermaids as a kid? Well, merfolk as a whole. I really hoped that they were out there.
I mean...
The ocean's a big place, right? They could be somewhere. But the older I got, the more I had to accept it. They were just a fairy tale. He jerked his head over to the waterline and the rolling waves. They crashed against the shore and then drew back. This is a perfect beach for them. It's pretty and vast and never too crowded. If merfolk did exist, we definitely would have met one by now. Or at least we would have heard of someone else seeing one. But nothing. He acted as though that result was a true bafflement. He let his head hang. I gotta let the dream go. I'll pretend to be shocked and disappointed. What? Mermaids aren't real? You looked at him and tried to get fake tears to start welling up in your eyes. I can't believe it. Cove chuckled a little to himself, eyes still let off into the sea, his face still low. Maybe it's for the best. Let's say a merperson did happen to wash up on shore one day.
looked at you with a fox, doleful expression. Could have lost my best friend to their magical underwater world. I'd go with the merfolk, but only if you could come with us too. Cove grinned. He hadn't expected that answer. You're a nice person, Vera, but what if they didn't want me? Would you seriously stay on land? You gave him a look. You meant what you had said. It would only work if the offer was for the both of you. Are you sure that's the right call? If a beautiful, kind person falls for somebody, I'm pretty positive that the sensible response isn't to turn around and say, no thanks, I'm gonna stay on land with the normal guy. I'm gonna save. And he's so silly. Are you warning me that you'd leave if you've got that kind of offer? You don't want me to be blindsided when you ditch me for a mere creature, if they're real? You know what? That isn't what I'm trying to say. I'm not the one who'd have to deal with that, you know? It isn't the same kind of thing. If a mer person did magically appear, there's no chance it would be me they would call for. The more Cove spoke, the more it sounded like he could be merfolk himself. He was joking on air, a fish out of water. Baby. I mean, you're the one who's witty and talented. You barely eked the last words out. What a cute boy. Oh, there isn't anyone who wouldn't choose you. Oh. You were completely flattered by how highly he thought of you. And then you heard Miranda screech, "We're busy flirting, Miranda." Your attention immediately switched over to your friends. You saw that Terry had gotten impatient and shifted her legs. The walls Miranda had been meticulously building sorry, my throat collapsed into a wet heap of sand. She surveyed the damage critically. We're gonna have to start over on that part. Do you just want to give up on this now?
No way.
The burial must continue. I'll try not to move anymore. Okay, if you're sure. I'll try to fix this. Miranda started to rebury her, and Terry shot her a thumbs up. She realized too late that moving her arm was a bad idea. More of the sand on her crumbled, and Miranda put her head in her hands. Cove caught your eye and started to drag himself up. Seems like we're needed. You agreed and followed him over to the girls. Miranda nodded at you both with appreciation, and the three of you did your best to finish the job. You all worked out a system of using just enough wet sand to help hold the rest together. With 3 people, it didn't take long for Terry to be entombed. Terry grinned massively, and Miranda offered high fives. The pile was officially done. Oh yeah! Resembling the Kool-Aid man, she kicked herself out of the ground with gusto. Sand went flying in all directions, and a Terry-shaped imprint was left behind. Miranda yelled again, and Cove chuckled. There probably wasn't a better way to get out of it. The 4 of you continued to have a good time. You went on a shell hunt. Miranda managed to find the biggest while you found the most colorful. Cove caught a tiny crab. You did a bit of everything. There were impromptu games to just soaking up each other's company. However, after a while you all had run out of water. Drinkable water anyway. It was decided that you would head to your or Cove's house. Things were gathered and you started to cheerfully walk up the road. What next? I don't have anywhere to go, so it could be whatever. Same. I guess we can keep hanging out? Terry snorted and readjusted her grip on things. Don't sound too sure there, Cove. By this point, you could see your house. It hadn't taken you long to make the trip. The conversation continued with everyone throwing out suggestions. Are people hungry? She looked from face to face in an inspection. Cove and Miranda shrugged in concert. No one was overtly opposed to it. However, you weren't really starving. It wasn't quite a mealtime. We could get dessert. No! I've been thinking of dessert all day. And the game has to remind me of my cravings. Miranda put a finger to her lip in thought. With a smile, her voice became more confident. Yeah, that would be fun. Terry considered it, and then shot Miranda a thumbs up.
Sure.
Sounds great to me. I can definitely go for that. You know I'm up for more. But there's nothing sweet at my house. Your friends glanced at Cove in his place. He shook his head immediately. That doesn't have anything good either. I mean, unless you want dessert-flavored protein shakes? Ew, no. She cut in and held her hands up as if trying to ward off something evil. Cove smirked.
Not bad.
It's not that bad.
Nope.
Nope. Just a nope.
Well,
There has to be some kind of sweet shop around here. Let's look it up. Tara nodded and started to dig around in her bag. I like the way you think. Tara continued to rummage in her bag and grew increasingly frustrated. She puffed out her cheeks and knelt down, setting the bag on the ground. With both hands free, she was finally able to fish out her phone. She raised it in triumph for a brief moment of celebration.
I'm on it.
I'll search for something good. Terry got back to her feet, hefting the bag over one arm, tapping away at her screen in the other. But she assessed Cove from top to bottom. No shirt, no shoes, no service. Cove glanced down at his bare chest and feet, having not even registered it prior. He chuckled a little. I'll grab something. Cove moved over to his house. He looked towards yours. Now everyone's in swimsuits. We can all be in swimsuits. Let's wait outside with the girls. You watched Cove disappear into his house. Terry was deep in the midst of scrolling food options. You shuffled over to where you could see, and Miranda did the same. There's ice cream. People love ice cream, especially around here. I don't really feel like ice cream. How can you not feel like ice cream? Ice cream is a mental state of being. How could you not want ice cream?
Uh-huh.
Cool, because I don't eat. Then why mention it? She flicked her finger up and another ice cream place showed up. Moo Moo's frozen treats with an unfortunate cartoon mascot. I like ice cream, it's just not for today. There has to be something else. You thought on it and Terry kept scrolling. You heard a door open and Cove reappeared. We were about to be surprised at how quick he was, but I noticed he had just thrown a shirt over his swim trunks and slipped a pair of sandals on. Of course. Hi. Everyone else exchanged their respective greetings and then looked back at Terry's phone. Terry scrolled further and then made an interested exclamation. Ooh, what about this place? I love crepes. I just ate crepes like a few days ago and I already want some more. They sell crepes! That's something you don't see every day. Look how fancy they are. He shoved her phone in your face. It seemed like a cute shop. It didn't show any actual pictures of the actual building, but the food seemed good. It was one of those places that put a lot of effort into presentation, with branded wrappings for the crepes and well-applied toppings.
Huh.
How weird. I've never heard of it. I haven't either. Mysterious. But crepes are so good. She nodded her approval as Terry admired more of the photos. I'd go. It's not too far, but we could drive. Terry cheered at the success of a plan mate, and you all walked around to Cove's car. He had to run inside once more to grab his keys. He can drive? Oh yeah, he's 18. Oh my god, he could drive now. I would write wash me in the dirt of the car. He noticed a thin coat of sand and dust in Cove's car. It had probably been a while since he had washed it. With a smirk, you carefully wrote, "Wash me," with your fingers.
Very nifty.
Get a word. I wonder if he's even gonna notice. The car beeped and unlocked. Cove ran up to you with his car keys in hand. His hair slipped into his face and he brushed it back. Shotgun! She clambered into the passenger's seat without hesitation. You didn't argue and climbed into the back with Miranda. Terry activated the directions in her phone map and acted as their navigator, directing Cove to the crepes. The GPS tried to get Cove to turn into a non-existent road once, and wanted him to do a U-turn instead of just using a left turn, but with Terry looking at the actual path, it went smooth enough. You were led to a small stall in a parking lot, rather than a full building. That explained why there hadn't been pictures of the crepes interior, and why it was so new to you despite living in this town your entire life. It was a completely new structure that popped up recently. There was a window you could walk up to, and 1 4 cars for to drive up to. Cove parked with a laugh.
Come on.
I don't think I needed to put on a shirt for this, but I still want to try it. Let's go.
What?
Do you not trust us to eat in your car? She gestured at the drive-thru option. Cove shook his head with a snort. I trust some people here, maybe, but wouldn't it be more fun to actually check it out? Everyone acknowledged his point and piled out. Terry tried to tease Cove a little, but Miranda started talking about the last time she had crepes. Apparently there had been a dessert explosion, topped with multiple sauces, powdered sugar, and what Miranda was pretty sure had to be cake icing. On a crepe? Cake icing? Huh? What kind of crepes are people eating? That's sweet.
So great.
Literally, it was so good, but I regretted it so much. I couldn't finish it, and I really tried. We can do it this time, Randy. That's so cute! There were some laughs. When you got up to the menu, you realized that there were more than just crepes. There were definitely crepes. Many crepes. Ooh, milkshakes! The stall also had lots of different drinks as well. Tea, smoothies, milkshakes.
Woo!
Jackpot! She grinned and held out her fist for a fist bump. Miranda high-fived it. The two stared at the awkward, vaguely turkey-shaped hand configuration they had made and then slowly put their hands down. Cove's mouth twitched in a smile. He stepped up to order first. He glanced back at the menu. Ooh, boys. Hello, I'd like to get a crepe and a drink, please. There was a woman who looked a little older than you taking the orders. She smiled back at you, ready to hear the specifics of your purchase. For the crepe itself, you wanted... There's lemon crepes? I always get chocolate on the chocolate. For the fillings and toppings, you picked... Ooh. Well, what? That was a weird noise that came out of my mouth. Sorry. Whipped cream. Can I have everything? I love everything. I would love it if I could get everything. I can! Yeah, boy! That was all. After you picked the size, you were asked what you wanted to drink. You ordered... Oh. I love milkshakes. Ooh, frappe is good too. Vanilla milkshake. You could also add a mix-in or toppings for the drink. Whipped cream! Boba! Everything is. You paid and stepped aside to let your friends order. Cove got a lemon crepe with powdered sugar on top and the mixed berries. He also got a plain strawberry smoothie. Terry went crazy with the topping. Although she ordered a plain crepe, she had it smothered with whipped cream, cream cheese, chocolate chips, chocolate syrup, and bananas. Me. Miranda opted for a frappe with caramel syrup and condensed milk. Is it a frappe or a frappe? I feel like I'm gonna get bullied if my friend hears how I say it. A drink. I'm just gonna say a drink. The four of you stood off to the side since you waited for your treats. I heard what you ordered, Vere. Glad I'm not the only one to go for a drink and a crepe. I couldn't pick just one, so why not? Exactly. It's gonna be good.
Wow.
Your drink sounded good. I thought about copying you. She looked at you with a curious glint in her eye. Why did you pick all that? Because I am a menace? I can't do it in real life, so let me do it in game. I really like stuff like that. It's pretty normal to me. Cool. Better, man, your crepe is gonna rock. High five for topping appreciation. She held her hand out expectantly. Yeah. I'm gonna fist bump her palm. Terry stared at your hands. She blinked. She looked between Miranda and you. Is this just a thing now? Yes. I don't know what you mean. Miranda's voice was surprisingly serious, while her face looked like she was seconds away from laughing. Terry shook her head dramatically. Order for Vere. Oh, I've gotta get that. You grabbed your order. The others didn't take much time after that. With the goods collected, everyone admired their treats. Oh, I want desserts. After stream, I'm getting boba, I don't care. Yesterday, I tried to hold off and not do it, and today I am regretting my options. I'm doing it after stream. Terry dug right into hers, and Miranda gave hers a tentative sip. Terry nodded acceptingly with her mouth completely full. Miranda tilted the frap over to her with a grin. Terry sipped it and clearly loved it. She raised her crepe over to Miranda. You could tell there was an intent to make it look nice, but with all these other toppings piled up, only so much could be done. Miranda took a huge bite with gusto and sighed happily. Terry seemed satisfied and took another slip of Miranda's drink. They had both only gotten one thing, probably because they knew they'd end up sharing. Cove, do you want to share? His face lit up with excitement, and he passed you his crepe.
Of course.
You exchanged treats and took a chomp on the lemon crepe. It was light with the sourness from the lemon and the sweetness from the syrupy berry mix. The smoothie was finely blended with the occasional chunk of strawberry. Cove seemed to enjoy his taste, and then you swapped back. He smiled as he took a loud sip from his smoothie. Thanks, you always get good stuff. With that, Cove started to eat his treats in earnest. You saw him take a huge gulp of his smoothie, and then without swallowing, he added a bite of his lemon crepe. You're gonna get backwash in your smoothie, that's gross. Cove? Terry tore off a piece of her crepe and held it out to Cove.
So?
Care to make a trade? Why not just eat it from the crepe? Sure. Instead of continuing to loiter in the parking lot, the four of you started to walk down the sidewalk. There was a lot of sharing going on, with crepe bits and toppings being passed around. You wouldn't have been surprised if Terry ended up drinking more frap than Miranda did. He kept going down the way, eating, drinking, and chatting. Hadn't realized just how far the group had wandered until you ended up on the now leaving sign. Apparently, you were about to just walk right off into the middle of nowhere. Terry took her mouth off Miranda's straw and stopped sipping the frap. Ah! Impossible! Preposterous. How are we already at the end? I always forget how tiny this town really is. Cove chuckled a little and swallowed a chunk of Terry's cake.
I guess.
It kinda is, huh? It didn't feel that small when we were growing up. I like big towns, but for the sake of, we are living here, I'll just agree. It definitely felt bigger then. There was a time when Sunset Bird had felt huge. It seemed as endless as the ocean. There was always some street you hadn't wandered down, something new for the tourists. But now, you had realized that it was just a pawn in this big, big world. Seeing a definite end only reinforced this. Here was the boundary. That proved your hometown could be walked out of with ease. I guess this means we should probably head back. One doesn't just walk into nowhere land. We're not the only one, Terry. There's four of us. Terry scrunched up her face, not wanting to acknowledge the bad joke. She decided to ignore it. It stings having to go all the way back. Yeah, but it's not like there's anything out that direction. And if we did keep going forward, it'd be an even longer trip home. He stared off into the stretch of road as Cove agreed that he didn't want to go out any further. Can we take a break here first before we turn around? We've been walking for a while and someone finished my drink. Right on cue, Terry loudly sucked air from the straw. It was so good. I would be so upset if I ordered something and my friend took it all. Like, if we share, I expect me to have the bigger portion and you can have the bigger portion of your dish, you know? Like, I would be so upset. Especially if it's yummy. Miranda looked at her, but Terry remained unrepentant. In the end, though, it was agreed to hang around the sign before heading back to the car. It didn't take long to finish the rest of the food and drinks. Everyone gathered up the trash and stuffed it into bags and pockets for now. Good. The group relaxed on the grass, keeping account of all the cars that drove past. It was not a high number. 14. The newest passing car drove into town from somewhere outside. But as the vehicle came by, it slowed down, and you watched as it ultimately rolled to a complete stop. The black car parked right by the now leaving sign. Everyone exchanged a baffled look. But then the tinted window rolled down and the driver peered out. Oh, is it Baxter? Or whatever his name was? As soon as you saw his hair, you recognized him. No one else in here presented themselves so distinctively. It is Baxter! I did a good job remembering his name. Hi, neighbors. Cove also jolted with recognition. He pasted on a cordial smile and waved politely. Afterwards, he put his mouth back over the straw of his long empty drink, as if trying to act cool. I waved. He leaned forward and tried to get a better look. His hands were loose on his steering wheel, and he seemed rather relaxed to have just pulled over on the side of the road. He waved and he nodded in acknowledgement. And you thought about the odd picture this made. A fancy black car pulled over to talk to a group of teens, mostly still in beach wear. Miranda was incredibly confused and shrank back to watch. Terry tilted her head in an unspoken question. Cove made a quick gesture pointing towards Baxter, and a light bulb went off for Terry.
Alright.
Ah, that's the new person in the condo. The B-man, right? Yeah, Baxter.
Oh,
I wasn't sure I'd ever actually see him. Her voice was quiet. Miranda usually got shy around new people. Terry was quite the opposite. Incredible, this is perfect. Terry hopped off from the grass and ran to Baxter's car, all full of excitement. Behind her, Miranda picked herself up and dusted imaginary dirt off her clothes. She sent a searching look to you and Cove, to which Cove shrugged. Miranda nodded and, with clenched fist, hesitantly followed Terry. Terry bent down to talk to Baxter through his window. She blasted through introductions, with Miranda putting in a shy wave. Cove looked at you. He still clearly had no intention of going over. Come on. Are you seriously going to sit on the grass? Come on, time to get up and be polite. Cove pouted. His cheeks flared out in a childish puff. I don't want to. I don't know what to say.
Fine.
You can go. I'll just wait until he's gone. You can survive Baxter for a few minutes. He's a good boy. Do you want to be the only person who doesn't go see him? Well, why can't you stay here with me instead? He sighed. He was definitely going to be difficult about this. Some days he really was the same 88-year-old, grouchy 8-year-old you met all those years ago. I'll physically push him towards the car. Not willing to mess around anymore, he strode over behind him and used both hands to force him up and over to the car.
Come on.
No, better. Cove put up a meager wall of resistance, but got to his feet. He didn't want to keep being poked at. Slowly, progress forward was made, until you two arrived at the driver's side car window. Baxter smiled welcomingly. Hello. Hey. Cove greeted him mildly, his expression cautious. Sup? Baxter gestured to Miranda and Terry. I just rented this car for my stay here and was coming back from a bit of sightseeing when I spotted your crowd. Then these two were kindly introducing themselves.
uh-huh.
Yep, it's only polite. Speaking of polite, Baxter is giving us a ride. I was asking him to. What? Baxter shrugged guiltily, seeing Cove's dramatic reaction. The offer is open. And we're taking it. Okay. I'm just happy I get a ride. Regardless of anything else, you didn't have to walk back. That's what counted, and you were grateful to Terry for arranging it. Alrighty, plan made. Let's hop in. You excitedly opened the passenger side door and buckled yourself in. The car was pristine, and you were right near the new car-scented air freshener. Baxter had the air conditioner on cool, but low, so it was pleasantly cool inside. Nice relief from the summer sun you had been baking in all day. Your friends clambered on and back. It definitely seemed the slightest bit squished back there.
Does that sound alright?
Welcome to my vehicle. I hope everyone is comfortable. And if someone could point me in the right direction, we can be on our way. You began to explain where you had come from. It was pretty easy to direct him straight down the road and one turn into a parking lot. Baxter nodded from up in the driver's seat and pulled back into the road. Luckily, the street was still dead empty. It took no time at all for Baxter to park right next to Cove's car. There wasn't even enough time for a proper conversation to start. The occupants didn't seem to mind. There were smiles all around when Baxter parked next to Cove's car. Woo! Miranda clapped quietly as Terry cheered. Cove chuckled nervously. I'll just nudge him in a friendly way. Thank you. You leaned over the divider and gave Baxter a light-hearted push on the shoulder. Hannah was expecting it, but quickly laughed and smiled at you. Celebration seemed to amuse him. We've arrived. That was easy. Terry flung open her door and climbed out.
Thanks.
Everyone else exited the car as well. The group thanks Baxter with varying degrees of enthusiasm. Baxter himself got out too. Everyone congregated again in front of Baxter's and Cove's cars. Cove looked at the back of his and frowned. He had finally discovered the wash me you had put on it. I wonder who did that. He snickered, along with Miranda, who realized you had been caught.
Ooh.
It's a mystery. Right. Terry bounced over to Baxter and offered her hand for a handshake. He accepted it with a charming grin. You're a pal. You're too kind. It was no trouble whatsoever. I'll be keeping this car all the summer. If it suits you, you're welcome to take my number and give me a ring whenever you're in need for another ride. And that goes for everyone here. Baxter is so nice. I love Baxter. I have a car. Terry busted into laughter and Miranda fidgeted. She did not know what to do with that. Baxter really went fast, didn't he? He noticed her discomfort and smiled with a soft tilt of the head. I'd be happy to help again, but that's the only reason I offered. If you don't need it, you can pass on it. He's such a good boy. I like him a lot. Can I flirt with him? Can I have your number? He beamed widely at your response. Also, I'll feel bad if no one takes his number. So as the bigger person here, I should take his number so that he doesn't feel rejected, right? That's only fair because he gave us a ride. Also, I'm drinking. Be right back. He beamed widely at your response.
Absolutely.
I love his voice. Baxter pulled out a pen he had with him for some reason and jotted his number down. He passed a little paper to you and you accepted. When her giggle subsided, Terry put a hand to her chin with brows furrowed. I wonder, would that option be available right now? You could valet us somewhere cool.
What?
What, Cove? Cove was taken aback. He put a hand on the hood of his car. Weren't we going back to the neighborhood? Wasn't Baxter going back to the neighborhood too? Why would we go somewhere else? Because we can. Rana squirmed nervously and then committed to piping up.
Maybe?
We could go to the park near my place. It's a really nice place to hang out. You and Cove shared a look. The big park was pretty nice. Let's do it! Baxter tapped the side of his face and thought.
It's doable.
He glanced at Cove and then switched focus to you.
Well,
We have 2 cars. If some people want to go to park, I could still take the others home. But if everyone's going, it wouldn't make sense for me not to. Let's go! You weren't ready to tag out yet. You came to a decision and turned to Cove. Let's go to the park! Alright, park time it is. He smiled a little. Terry cheered and Miranda nodded happily. You felt like you made a good decision.
Yeah.
To the car, again. Yeah, whatever car that might be. Cove gestured at Cove and then to Baxter, seeing who would volunteer. Cove sighed and ran a hand through his hair. He tapped on his car's hood nervously.
I guess.
We can go in Baxter's, I guess. It'll be less of a pain than bringing both. We're all going to the same place. Are you okay with that, Baxter? Certainly. I meant what I said. When you need a lift, I can give it. He's so nice. Either that or I'm just that easy, but I think he's really nice. Neither you nor Terry brought up any objections, and so the gang climbed back into Baxter's nice ride. This time, Baxter offered to turn on some music. After all, it would be a little bit of a drive to the park. Play what you normally would, don't mind us. Yeah, I would like to see what kind of stuff a guy like you is into. I hope the playlist lives up to expectations. He plugged in his phone to the car with an aux cord and turned on some alternative music. With the music taken care of, Baxter put the car in drive and pulled out of the parking lot. The lot was practically empty, but you noticed that he was careful anyways. During the trip, it changed from hard rock to punk and even screamo. Despite his personable demeanor, he didn't seem to like upbeat tracks. It took a while to arrive. By the time he got there, the sky was golden with the orange streaks of sunset. Everyone got out of the car and started to stroll along one of the paths. He walked by the basketball court and some picnic tables, taking in the sights. Miranda seemed amazingly content, the location helping her relax in the company. She led the way, sometimes stopping here or there to point something out. Baxter turned to her and nodded along.
Not bad.
I've never been here, but I definitely see the appeal. No, this is Randy's stomping ground. She's been coming here forever. Seriously, Miranda, have you ever had a birthday party that wasn't here? You missed out, Baxter, because every year she has a blowout party at the park. Imagine, balloons everywhere. Miranda looked down, suddenly shy again with the attention on her. She let out an awkward laugh. Yep, every year. The group followed Miranda along to one of the picnic tables. She took a seat and Terry slid in beside her. They spent the evening chatting amongst yourselves. Everyone got to know Baxter a little better, although you could tell Cove and him still hadn't fully clicked. At one point, Miranda found a abandoned soccer ball and started tossing it around. To me! Miranda threw the ball to her. Terry caught it with a smile. Think fast. She chucked it at Baxter, who only had enough time to squeak. It bounced off his chest and he stared at it dazed. Babe. He blinked as if he needed to process what exactly had happened, but then he grinned dangerously. He rushed after the ball and, rather than throwing it back, he surprised Terry and everyone else by lobbing the ball high into the air. You bent your neck back to watch its ascent and inevitable decline. Baxter hooked it with his foot and launched it up again. There were oohs and ahs from Terry and Miranda. Baxter gave them a very proper bow. When it finally fell to the ground for real, Cove was the one who picked it up. He was impressed and he wanted in. With that, everyone was drawn into the game. It was unspoken that whoever did the fanciest trick won. Most of the gang was not particularly practiced with throwing a ball, so not many of the tricks were actually good. However, there was a lot of laughter, and you got to see Miranda pull off a round-off when she threw the ball with her feet, so that was cool. You did pretty well yourself, and got a fair amount of applause from the crowd with your moves. The sunset eventually darkened into night, and the street lights turned on. Your group's chosen picnic table laid in a bubble of light. The occasional bug cast a shadow as they flew by. It's a little strange being here so late on a normal night. Usually, that only happens if there was a party, or an important game, or a fireworks show. Fireworks! Her yell startled Baxter, who was throwing the ball nonchalantly from hand to hand. He missed catching it, and it sailed sadly back to the ground. He looked at Terry for her loud outburst. I just remembered, there's gonna be a fireworks show tonight. It's in the city. To everyone's questioning looks, she huffed and tried to explain further. It's some celebration for the opening of something. I don't remember what. I don't think we could get into the actual event anyways.
Hell yeah!
But we should still be able to see the show if we get close. We can't keep explosions in the sky away from the public. Pope raised an eyebrow and drummed his fingers on the table below him. You want to change the locations again? Wasn't the last 2 times enough? Terry rolled her eyes and then shook her head. To her it was obvious. Don't be a wet blanket, Cove. What about you, Vere? Randy? Baxter? Don't you want to see fireworks? Okay, as an introvert, I understand Cove, but usually, whenever I commit to hanging out, I would be available to get dragged around the entire day. So I really think Cove should just, I don't know. Does he hate it that much? It depends. Okay, let's see how much he hates it. Maybe if we had planned it earlier, Terry. He sounded apologetic, but Terry waved him off, unbothered. Time to call it a night. Okay, he's like, okay. Fireworks, we gotta go! I guess if there are fireworks. Alright, whatever. What's one more scene change? Yes, I knew this was a good idea. In turn, 4 sets of eyes looked to Baxter. As a driver, his answer made or broke the plan. He chuckled softly. In for a penny, in for a pound. I'll go.
Honestly,
Genuinely, there's nothing better to occupy my time tonight. We better hurry, or we might miss it. Cove rolled his eyes, but laughed. Everyone headed back to the car yet again. Terry brought out her phone to navigate to the city, and Baxter stepped on the gas. You are on your way. Baxter drove past buildings aglow in warm yellow light that cut through the navy black night. One office building had bright LED lights that cycled through a whole rainbow of hues. It was difficult to get through all the traffic on the road, let alone find parking this late at night. Luckily, Miranda had eagle eyes when it came to scoping out a spot. She pointed to a sedan pulling out, and Baxter parked within seconds. Not wanting to miss the show, we all raced down the waterfront walkway to find a place with a good view. What about here? Cove peered across the rails into the distance and shot her a thumbs up. It was relatively quiet, isolated, and you could see skyscrapers. That was a good sign, based on where Terry thought the event was. Yes, this should work just fine. She stopped and tried to catch her breath. Her hands on her knees, Miranda leaned against the wall between the establishments as she recovered. Cove wasn't even breathing hard. He stood by you with a slight smile on his face. He only let out a relieved sigh. Think we've missed anything?
No way.
Not a chance. Nothing's happening, and we can't be so late that we missed everything. Maybe it'll start soon. I'm just laid back about it. Sure, the fireworks were something that you'd like to see, but you weren't overly invested in the show. You were with your friends, and it was already something. Fireworks would happen or they wouldn't. You could accept it either way. Terry led Miranda to sit down on the oval slabs along the path. Miranda took a seat and began tapping her knees together as she waited. Terry, meanwhile, crouched more than sat. Baxter smiled politely and looked from you to Cove. He seemed to be waiting for one of you to speak first rather than wanting to directly start a conversation. He's so respectful! What a good boy! Something seemed to strike Cove as he tried to unsuccessfully hide a smile. We're all still in swimsuits. Wearing beachwear in the middle of the city, in the dark, while waiting for a fireworks show was clearly the joke of the day for him. Cove snorted once and then looked back up at the sky. Pretty! A flash lit up the sky with a brilliant green. Her eyes flew off the building into the distance and silently watched with bated breath. You heard a second boom, and a red firework lit up the night. Wow, the show is starting! It's so pretty! They came running over to get closer, positively beaming. Terry pressed herself to the waterfront fence, getting as close as physically possible without just going swimming again. More fireworks went off, shooting out hundreds of tiny sparkling lights. The colors stood out starkly against the dark of the night. The biggest ones washed your surrounding with their hue, turning your world blue, then red, and then golden.
Welcome.
Did I deliver? Or did I deliver? Miranda's eyes glittered, and she lightly bumped Terry with her hip. Good job. Terry stumbled at the friendly nudge, but was pleased with the compliment. She grinned back. Miranda lightly swung her hips the opposite way to give you a bump as well. It was friendly and soft. Woo! We did it! Gave her a little push in turn with a laugh. I'm happy everyone seems to be having a good time. Cove stared up to the sky with wonder, while Terry squealed in joy after a series of especially grand explosions. Miranda pointed to one that was shooting up, and then gasped when it bloomed and turned into a huge sphere of violet light. Baxter smiled in appreciation. It was good to see your friends in high spirits. The rest of the group huddled down around the railing to take in the show as closely as possible. Miranda stood close by. Terry's hands gripped the top. Cove laid his arms across it while leaning forward, and Baxter rested his elbows on the rail, putting his back towards the fireworks. They seemed to have more fun watching the others than the actual show. Cute! Ooh! She pointed out a golden firework and beamed. Ah, that's so cool! Terry held up a hand for a high five, and Miranda obliged her. Terry whooped and shot you a smile. What color do you think the next one will be? Without giving Baxter a glance, Cove answered immediately. Green. It was orange, Baxter chuckled, but wasn't interested in calling Cove out for being wrong. Is there a favorite color? Green?
That's...
It's one of them. I think that's nice. It matches you. And is yours black? That's one of them. Cove smirked just a little and left the conversation there. I can stand next to Baxter? Hold up. Baxter easily saw you approach with the way he was propped up, happily gestured for you to take the place right next to him. He grinned while tilting his head up to the sky. I really am lucky to have met all of you this summer. I won't forget it. He's such a good boy! Didn't know what to say to that admission, but it made you happy to think about. Things weren't one-sided. As you wanted a chance to be around him, he was wanting the same thing. Okay, now let's go seriously and go to Cove. Cove looked away from the fireworks and grinned at you. He was glad to be spending time with you and tilted his head at the spectacular multicolored firework above. I think that's been my favorite so far. He shot you another look and nodded, wanting you to move up closer. In front of him, you could see the night's light reflected on the water. I leaned my body against his. You rested against his side and let yourself relax. You felt solid and sturdy beside you. It was comfortable. You took a moment to watch him, and there were fireworks reflected in his eyes. Cove grinned like a kid. Cove's gaze drifted from the show of dazzling lights straight to you, and he sighed dreamily. You didn't know when you had last seen him so blissful. The spectacle continued to up the ante by bringing more fireworks out at a time. The colors danced across the sky and reflected over the water. You reached out a hand and watched as it was tinted green while a big boom sounded. Fireworks were a normal summer tradition, but this was admittedly an unconventional approach. Showing up in the city last minute to watch a display from a technically private event, that made this feel special in a way that was just planning to go to a public fire. Words hurt. That made this feel special in a way that was just planning to go to a public fireworks show never would. Terry's idea might not have left you with a lot of time to prepare, but it sure led to a unique situation. It was clear this was an unforgettable night. As the finale sounded, blazing the sky with unbelievable beauty, you remember thinking that there might never be a night exactly like this one again, not for the rest of your life. Plan to hold on to the feelings you had in that moment for as long as you could. That was cute! I like it. I'm gonna drink. It's Baxter! I see there's Baxter's moments as well. I didn't know. Okay, errands. From the moment you woke up, you knew that today was going to be busier than usual. There was a list of errands that needed to be finished before the day was done. First up was visiting one of the biggest farmer markets in the area. It was only open 2 weekends a month during certain parts of the year. It was rare that you and your family was able to attend, so your moms liked to make the most out of every minute of it. And you realized it was not just them feeling that way when you heard a whistle from your left side. Wow, this is a swanky show. Vegetables have never seemed so highbrow. Seriously, they don't mess around with their products.
Isn't that great?
Liz crossed her arms. You could tell she was amused. We couldn't have picked a more perfect trip. It's been too long since we've had a true family outing. Her teasing tone said more than she actually did. Your next-door neighbors had joined you this day, and that's what made it a true family outing. The three parents laughed approvingly. Out of the corner of your eye, you caught Cove looking at you sympathetically. Some things never changed, and some jokes never died. You had long accepted that. Unfortunately, I am at that age where really nice looking vegetables excite me. And home appliances that make cooking easier and like cleaning easier excites me greatly. I am at that age. So I'm excited! There were so many stalls. You couldn't even imagine what hidden gems you might find among them. Bubbling with anticipation, you smiled. Well, I'm ready to get started. I've got plenty of dishes in mind I could use ingredients for. Before your moms responded to that, they glanced at each other and smiled. Yeah, that's a very good idea, Cliff. This place is much larger than it seems. It's difficult to visit each part in a single day.
I got it.
I'm sure we can at least make a decent den together at least. Actually, since there are so many of us this time, we could take different sides of the market.
Sounds good.
Divide and conquer, eh? That sounds brilliant. Everyone watched your mom, surprised. No one had considered that an option, but your mom flashed the group a dazzling smile, continuing with the thought. Though, it is a little unfair that there are 4 last family members and only 2 Holdens here, so I'll go with you boys to even out the odds.
Okay.
That's fine by me. Cliff scratched the back of his neck and slowly met Cove's stare. They both seemed unconvinced, but weren't sure what to say about it. Don't worry, we'll be apart for only a few hours, and then we'll have something to talk about at the end of it. Father and son ultimately nodded. This wasn't an argument they were going to win.
Alright.
Alright, I don't get the point, but I also don't mind spending the first part of the trip with Vera and Mom. Ma clapped her hands together at that. Hi! Hi, Risa! Welcome! Isn't it your bedtime? Why are you awake? Wonderful. Are the teams ready to go? Ooh, can I be the one to go with Holdens? Sorry, my ROG fell. My bad. You looked from your mom to your ma, hopeful that you would at least get to explore the market with Cove. You perked up at the suggestion, but then you saw Ma was pouting at your request to leave her group.
Sorry.
No can do this time, kiddo. Seeing that neither parent was budging, you slumped your shoulders. You won't be slipping it up for too long, right? I'm doing some side work. I saw you on, so I wanted to give some love. Risa, you're so cute. I love you. Thank you for coming. And good luck with your work. Try to get enough sleep, though. Ma hooked an arm around you in a little side hug. You grinned.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Vere. Taking the lead, Mom walked over towards Cove and Cliff, who were still eyeing her confusedly.
Let's go.
Come on, boys. We're heading up. Sure. Okay. Cove looked at you softly and found himself pulled forward, stepping in front of you. His expression flickered for a moment, hesitant.
Bye.
Bye. Suddenly he twitched slightly, his whole body getting stiff. He jerked his gaze back at your mom and you realized that she had grabbed the hem of his shirt. She gave it a small tug before letting go. They're really acting like they're gonna be separated for long. I'm forcing myself to go to bed in 30 minutes max. Good. I hope you finish your work fast and then can sleep.
No.
Time's a wasting, Cove, and I've known you long enough to be aware that you're one to linger. If I don't stop you now, you'll only drag your feet on parting ways more. The 2 of you can survive 1 morning apart, probably. We have important shopping to do now. Cove gasped at what he felt like was a truly obscene thing to say. His face burned red, but that was ignored by him. He spoke with an unimpressed roll of the eyes.
Seriously?
You don't need to literally pull me away from there. I'm not that clingy. Mom sniggered with a shake of her head. Cove's eyebrows raised over the reaction, and he turned to Ma. She wouldn't meet his eye as she whistled innocently. This smirked ear to ear, and Cove whipped his head towards his dad. Mr. Holden couldn't offer anything more than an apologetic shrug. It was only then that it dawned to Cove that everyone did think he was that needy. How cute. I love Cove. Finally, he dared to face you with wide pleading eyes. The first two is like the first one is kind of okay, but the second one is crazy because like, don't say that to your mom, and she was clearly joking. I would just silently stare back. There was no denying it. They were right, but you didn't want to join in with this conversation. I would have bullied him for it. Struggled to think of a defense for him, but your silence was enough. Cove hung his head, feeling completely outnumbered. Poor baby. Yeah, well, so what? Cutie. That admission had Liz, your mom's, and his dad bursting into laughter. Cove grimaced and walked several steps from the group before stopping. Clearly wanted to move on, so much so that he was physically moving away. I'll see you soon. For a moment you weren't sure if Cove heard you over the noise of the market, but then he nodded. You smiled softly, watching him get over his embarrassment, and you relaxed a bit.
See you later.
See you in a few hours. Take care of yourself. At that, Mom picked a direction and set out into the market with Mr. Holden and Cove following behind her. Grinning, Ma sent them off with a big wave. Liz gave a daintier goodbye wave herself. Despite the change in plans, you were still glad to be there. It wasn't what you had imagined, but that didn't matter. There was a whole market to explore, and you couldn't wait to find some good stuff. When they were gone, Ma cheerily turned towards you and Liz. She put her hands on her hips. You think there'll be any nice ginger around here? We'll have to find out. You nodded in agreement, keen to truly get the trip going. Ma led you both into the busy market. Sometimes past browsing, there were only a few stalls you stopped at. You had fun chatting and laughing, pointing out various things to Ma and Liz, and vice versa. At one point, Ma stopped suddenly. She put her hand on her belly and gave a half-hearted smile. I think I should have used the bathroom before we left home like the two of you responsibly did. Just need to pee?
Yes.
Yes, Liz, I'll have to visit the ladies' room now. Shall we all go together? Ma craned forward as she struggled to pinpoint the direction she needed to go. She gently considered your suggestion. There's no need to worry about me for this, or waste time standing around. Keep on shopping. Though, actually, I might need help finding my way. Can you please come, Lizzie? What? So I get left behind? No, I come with. You and your sister had to share a look over that. Why do that of all things?
Hey.
Ma, if anyone should go anywhere on their own, shouldn't it be you? You're the one needing a detour, and you're the parent here. Ma giggled, unfazed by the resistance. Liz, meanwhile, tipped the brow of her head up, watching Ma skeptically. Soon enough, Vera will have to handle doing these kinds of errands on her own. This makes good practice. No! Why? Ma hooked an arm around Liz's and pulled her along.
Have fun.
We'll find each other again later. Excuse me? Wait, I get left behind? Eh? As Ma and Liz waded into the crowd, you raced after them, but they were out of sight within moments. I would just go home. Mean. What started as a group outing suddenly became you, entirely on your own. You thought Ma was being ridiculous, but you didn't really mind. You weren't sure what ulterior motives Ma had for pulling this, but that was far down your priority list at the moment. You were starting to feel happy at the idea of doing things at your own pace. Let's meet up. At that point, you had no interest in your mom's plan. If they weren't going to stick around to follow it through, you were going to do what you actually wanted. Taking out your phone, you quickly pulled your chat with Cove up and sent, "Quick question, would you want to shop with me? Or could I join you instead? Ma and Liz kinda abandoned me over here." It wasn't long at all before you get a response back. Cove responded in rapid-fire messages. What? Wait, where are you? You took a survey of your surroundings and then sent him a description of where you were and the path you took to get there. While you waited for his response, you watched all the people moving around and past you. There wasn't a single familiar face. When your phone received the new text, you breathed a sigh of relief. Okay, I'm on my way. You're a lifesaver. Cove couldn't get there fast enough. There wasn't any reason that you could think of why you had to wander around the market alone. When you were certain Cove wasn't sending any more messages for now, you went to put your phone away. The familiar keychain caught your eye, bringing a warm smile to your lips. It was still so easy to remember those early days of your relationship with Cove, his pink tats, his big sad eyes, his frustration with his parents, but through it all, he was there. Since you met him, Cove has always been there. You had grown up to really appreciate what it meant. You placed your phone back where it belonged and checked around for a nearby stall to kill time. One pulled your focus. Ooh, what is that food? Fudge. While most stalls were selling various garden-grown foods, this one had an array of homemade fudge. There were even vegan versions of every option. I like food, but what other stalls are there? It was fun getting a peek at all the fudge options, but you weren't enticed enough to buy any. Okay, it's just, I don't care. I want fudge. If I can't eat in the real life, I will eat in game. You sidestepped past a few other people and got yourself right in front of the counter for a better look. It was a wide spread, dozens and dozens of delicately cut squares of decadence. The owner smiled and approached you to explain their shop. The fudge is sold in boxes of 4 pieces. They either can be all the same, all different, or any mix you like. Are you looking to buy any today? I want some. Your mind was already filling with thoughts of sinking your teeth into the delicious fudge. There was no walking away empty-handed now. And then to share. The whole selection was too good not to share. I don't think he needs a box just for himself, right? That was all. Yeah, I could use some fudge. I'm glad you came to the right place then. For yourself, you picked... Ooh. Okay, I know I can't eat all of this, but like in real life, but ooh. Very confused. Okay, dark chocolate. And then, maple. I like maple. Caramel. And peanut butter. For the group, key lime, key cream, chocolate toffee, and what? I'm just picking things I like. Red velvet? I don't like mint, if you can't guess. The shop owner carefully put your order together. We're already looking forward to when you'd eat your fine selection of fudge. Everyone else was definitely going to be happy when you regrouped later. You paid and there was no stopping the large grin going across all across your face. Pivoting to your heels, you wove your way back to where you were initially. Kept yourself on alert, trying to spot Cove among the crowd. Actually, shouldn't I also buy some for Cove? Because everyone's ditching me. I think I should buy some for Cove. Why did I save here? Since... No, not get any, no. This one, yes. And then for Cove, and then for everyone. Yes, we're buying everything. I'm buying absolutely everything. This is... It doesn't need to be this hard, but I take my chocolates very seriously. And then caramel, this is for me. And then maple walnut. And then for group, I guess I'm thinking I guess the same that I picked earlier. And then ooh, white chocolate peppermint sounds good actually. I don't even remember what I picked. For Cove, Cove has green in his hair, so I'm assuming he likes peppermint. Right? No? White chocolate peppermint and key lime? And then he likes strawberry. I know that, but I don't see any. Caramel and chocolate peanut butter. Okay. I'm not spending money anyway, so I might as well, take the whole thing. For the next several minutes, you stood there on high alert, trying to spot Cove among the crowd. You broke into a smile when you saw his familiar seafoam hair sticking out above the masses. He hadn't seen you yet, but Cove was walking with purpose in your direction. You noticed he was hefting a couple of bags in his hand. Standing firm, you cupped your hands around your mouth for added projection. You took a deep breath. Cove, hold and get your butt over here! He instantly stopped dead in his tracks. Alert, Cove's head snapped up, and his eyes searched the crowd until they landed on you. His whole demeanor brightened at the sight. Did it! But even from a distance, you could tell his mood shifted again. He seemed serious. He weaved through passerby deftly in an attempt to get through as fast as reasonably possible, slipping around them with ease. I won't go over him. Stepped around a few people to meet Cove partway.
Are you okay?
Yeah, of course. Mostly. How did you escape my mom? I didn't have to. Yours weren't the only one to just leave. Your mom took my dad before you even messaged. They were doing it for us so we could hang out together. That's sweet. You're kidding. I wish. I can't believe this happened to the both of us. They planned it. They had to. But I don't know why. Are they pranking us? I don't know either. And you meant it. You couldn't fathom what your moms were up to. Cove shook his head, trying to clear his mind.
Well,
I guess things are just up to us now. Yeah. So, his gaze wandered off, as if one of your parents might simply appear if he kept checking, and you could tell he was still processing the situation. He scratched the back of his head, looking sheepish. Do you still wanna go shopping with me? Why wouldn't I, babes? Obviously. Cove beamed, and you were ecstatic at the thought of spending the rest of the trip with him. It was finally time to take some control back in your day, over your day. Cove's grin twisted into a conspiratorial one. You both knew that you were going against whatever had really been planned for this outing, but luckily neither of you cared one bit. I feel like they absolutely planned for us to just hang out together. I feel it. Okay, so where to first? I don't mind going back to the way I came if it's new to you. It's not hard to miss stuff even if I've gone past it. What have you gotten? Cove shuffled his bags around and started pulling them open so you could peek inside each one. You recognized the array of things he picked up around the market. I mostly get typical things I can use pretty easily so far. Nothing super exciting. There were a few cucumbers, some lemons, and sweet potatoes, among other things that were wrapped up so you couldn't discern what they were. Wanna start over there? Cove followed your eye as you pointed at one of the larger stalls. It was filled with several kinds of staple fruits and vegetables.
come on.
Yeah, let's go. Once a few people finished paying and moved, you and Cove got yourself directly in front of the shop. There were so many things to pick from. Ooh, I love lettuce. Potatoes are good. Why am I buying ingredients? I mean, should I buy what I actually usually buy? I'm so confused. Why am I buying things? Peppers are so expensive these days. The shop owner put your selection together and handed it to you in a couple bags. Happily you paid and waited for Cove to make his purchase. Ready to go? Can I just buy everything, like clean out all the stalls? Cove grinned, satisfied with his new choices. He had added another bag to his small but growing collection. You nodded.
Alright.
Okay, now go. Let's go. Together, you and Cove wandered the market on the lookout for any stalls that caught your attention. Cove was walking around with a spring in his step, talking about the various meal ideas he had in mind. After a while, you had to go to greater distances to find something of interest. Several of the stalls were selling the same goods. It was only a matter of of which you wanted to buy from. Continued ambling down the path until Cove disappeared suddenly from your peripheral vision, pulling you away from your thoughts. Cove? Spun around, spotting him some steps back. He was standing still. Followed his eyeline past the crowds. Immediately, you knew what had grabbed him. Homemade jams and local honey. The stall was glittering with quaint glass jars stacked high, each encasing gels of varying colors. Cove's eyes were practically sparkling at the sight. I didn't know you liked honey. His feet automatically began to take him there, likely without being fully aware he had made an unexplained detour. When you got closer, you were surprised there were even more varieties than you thought. There were even different honeys based on what type of pollen the bees used. Cove's focus seemed torn between a bottle of blackberry jam and one of clover honey. Oh my god. Did you want some honey? That's so funny. Okay. Did you want some honey? Dumbfounded, Cove nodded in response. His face was burning red. You grinned, way too pleased with your own joke. You thought things over for yourself too. Can I just buy everything? How many things will they let me buy? Because so far there's like a lot of options that don't matter. Cause so like, can I just buy a lot of things? Orange blossom honey sounds really good. Honey butter! I've always wanted to try honey butter. I love plum. Let's just buy everything. And that was everything. You paid, and the shop owner started putting together your order. They carefully packed it in a few bags with paper. Thank you very much. Amused, you watched Cove give in and just buy both the clover honey and the blackberry jam. He also went all in, getting spring wildflower honey and plum jam too. The shop owner thoughtfully wrapped each in a brown paper to protect them from before putting them in a bag. He handed the purchase to Cove.
Thank you.
He both stepped away from the stall. Cove didn't fail to notice the look you had been giving him since he agonized over his toe stoppers. Hey, this doesn't go bad for a long time, so why not stock up? I could have chosen one if I wanted to, but you didn't. Sure, and I get it. Why do you think I got so many too? Good then. As you began to stroll, Clove looked up at the sky. He smiled. It was sort of unexpected, considering all of this was technically an errand, and unexpected changes often upset him. But he was happy, and Cove liked doing this kind of normal thing. And you could tell that Cove especially enjoyed doing these kinds of things with you. Darling! I want strawberry. I made like strawberry jam recently with frozen berries. It was surprisingly really good. Making jam by yourself is surprisingly really affordable. It's just annoying. I see. You like strawberry. I will memorize this, Risa. I am feeling the same as him. We weren't going to let what happened put a damper on this outing. We're so domestic, it's crazy. No, because I am at the age where doing this kind of thing excites me greatly. So, we're so domestic. Cove took a sharp intake of air and started coughing for a moment. Afterwards, he refused to look at you. Are we?
Well,
I guess we are. Later, when you spotted a less crowded area, you took a break from browsing. Cove started rummaging through one of his bags just to check on how his goods were doing. A smile grew on his face as he went on to the next. He chuckled, knowing that Cove wouldn't let anything go to waste. There wasn't a single doubt. He was gonna eat it all. You held a hand in front of your face as you squinted upwards. The sun had moved on quite a bit. You had been in the market for a good while now. Neither your feet nor your arms were sore right now, and Cove looked to be doing fine too, but that was something that could be coming. There was a price to pay for this much shopping, and it wasn't always just in money. Oh my god. Okay, I was gonna ask him for a piggyback ride because I always ask him for a piggyback ride, but I can. Want a piggyback ride, babe? Cove gave you an odd look until he realized that you were completely serious. He burst into laughter. Come on. His chuckling died down, and you could tell Cove was somewhat considering your offer. But he shook his head. Why? Is it because I'm a girl? Let me. I got all these bags, and I don't really do piggyback rides. My dad was the only one I ever got them from. Madness high! I can do it, Cove, and I want to. Give it a try. Well, he twisted in place uncomfortably while you continued to stand firm, and then he relented. Alright, we can try. A grin broke out on your face. Somehow, that what was meant to be a favor for him had ended up like he was going to the trouble for you, but he had still won this round. Okay, up you go. Crouched down low for Cove to get on. Cautiously, he draped himself against your back and wrapped his arms around your neck. He tried tucking his long legs in as you slowly stood up a bit, but while you were working on getting your hands around them to help hold, it was awkward with all the bags. Still, you continued on.
Oh my god.
Hello, Vera? Vera who? Hi, Annie. His voice came out in a disbelieving squeak. Cove was still on while you were standing upright. You didn't! Yeah, I did it. His grip was so tight it was slightly uncomfortable, but there was no stopping the grin growing on your face. You knew he was having a fun time. And with that, you and Cove continued your trip through the market together. Ma and Mom had both texted you during the trip, though only to say that they hoped you had found some good stuff and that they would see you later. There was no answers on where they went or why. You and Cove continued to win your way through the bustling market, the list of outstanding items steadily shrinking while the bags grew heavier. Cove must have had a fantastic view of the market on your back. You might have thought that it would have helped to find the produce needed, but you would have been wrong. Putting Cove closer to the sky had made it easier for him to lose his head in the clouds. You heard as much about cool birds and people's stylish hairs as you did about where you might find the next thing to pick up. He was just reveling in the new experience, and that was okay. Eventually, he realized that he had not checked his phone in a while. He couldn't reach it from his current position, so you came to a stop out of the flow of foot traffic and let him hop down. Cove rearranged all the bags he was carrying, freeing a hand so that he could pull out his phone. You watched his eyes dart over the screen as he read the waiting messages. Not important. I can reply to that later. He mumbled his verdict under his breath. Then Cove's face crunched up with confusion.
Huh?
Wait, I've got a message from my dad. Listen to this. Cove, I wasn't part of the plan. I didn't know what was going on when I left with Vera's mom. Where are you? Interesting. He sent that ages ago. I didn't hear it come in. He sent another one since then. Says he hopes I'm alright and that he's not bothering me. His dad is so scared of it. The newest one says everybody's going to the parking lot soon and we can meet up there. He lowered his phone, eyes narrowed. The same conclusion was settling on you had landed on Cove as well. So it was on purpose. The crowd of people passing by stayed as noisy as ever, a sharp contrast to the sounds that had fallen over you and Cove. He was rubbing the screen of his phone against his shirt, wiping away dust and debris. He continued scrubbing the screen long after anything could have remained, the action a poor substitute for pushing away the awkwardness of the moment. I'm just confused of why. Some of your parents' actions made more sense with this context, but the bigger question, that of why, was still weighing on you. How are they going to explain this, I wonder? He laid his hand on your shoulders, grounding you. Cove's frown grew taut. His mouth a stiff serious line, but his eyes wide with concern. I'm fine! I was just wondering!
I'm sorry.
About your mom's, leaving you alone out here like this without warning. His speech was slower than usual. You suspected that he was choosing each word carefully. It was unnatural, but you appreciated that he didn't want to risk upsetting you further. I don't know if you want to talk to them about this, but I can definitely back you up. I totally get it's sucky. I mean, it's fine. I don't want to talk about it. Let's just move on.
It's okay.
You don't have to. His voice was soft and reassuring. He smiled, a gesture of gentle encouragement. I'm confused. Am I supposed to be upset? Well, I am, but like I figured it's because I don't know, they wanted to leave me with Cove. Like, am I supposed to be upset? Okay, fine, I'll vent. If you want me to vent so much, I will vent. I didn't want things to be like this, but they didn't even talk about it. I didn't get a chance to say anything. Cove listened, nodding gently as you unburdened yourself. You then drew a deep breath, the fresh air steadying you. You didn't stop until your lungs were full. Cove watched over you, still concerned.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, even though it's not exactly my fault this time. But is there anything I could do to make you feel better? Even a little bit. You already have. I did? Yeah, you really did. Cove nodded in understanding. He smiled, a simple, open, and honest smile. You knew that he had accepted your answer. After a moment, he stepped further away from you, face turned. Cove closed his eyes and took a deep breath. His brow creased, then furrowed deeper into his scowl, his arms tightly coiling together. But they did do something stupid. I knew it! Oh, now you're mad. His voice had taken on an exaggerated quality. But what truly distinguished it from Cove's typical speaking tone was the abundance of rage. This is such a chore. Parents are so dumb. Why do people have to go places with family members anyway? I hate them. Got it instantly. It had been years since the boy with the bowl cut had been in town for the summer, but Cove had never forgotten. Ah, Jeremy. I see. To this day, he continued to unleash his impersonation whenever the moment felt right. Sometimes he wondered if the act had grown more exaggerated over the years, or if the kid was really that ridiculous. I'm gonna play along for sure. Wow, what is wrong with you?
No!
I'm not wrong, actually. If you were as smart as me, you would know that. Cove gave you a lopsided smile, letting the joke rest for now. None. You should probably go meet up with the group. Yeah? You didn't dally any longer, slipping back into the crowd and making your way towards the entrance of the farmer's market. It didn't take long to reach the parking lot. Your parents, Mr. Holden and Liz, were already waiting there, and they waved at you both as you approached. Your own family seemed to be in a pretty good mood. In contrast to Mr. Holden, he stared at Cove with open concern as you got close. Aw, how sweet! Hey bud, hey Vere, how are you doing? We'd be doing better if we hadn't been abandoned in a farmer's market by our families. You saw your moms frowning in response. Ma glanced from Cove to Mom with blinking eyes. Just because Vera tries to make things a good time no matter what, doesn't mean you can just leave her out of your plans and expect her to go with it every time. Ma hung her head, ashamed, and Mom had a hand pressed to her cheek. You could tell that they were quickly regretting their scheme. I really don't understand what the did they really do it just so I could hang out with Cove? But then why would we all go together if all they want is for me to spend time with Cove? I'm so confused.
I'm so sorry.
I'm genuinely confused. Her words were full of emotion. Mom squeezed Ma's arm. We were trying to make the errand more of a trip, less of a chore. Ma nodded. We didn't think you, Cove, and Liz wanted to be stuck trudging around a market with your parents all day. Then why take us? Especially not in the summer. But you're always very thoughtful, and I didn't like to leave your moms behind, so we did ourselves. It was only going to be for the market, not for the other stops, I promise. Still, you're right. We could have just told you and let you make your own call. I I really am sorry. Neither of us meant to upset you.
I'm really sorry.
All gas, no brakes. We should have known better. Sorry. Ma ditched me too. After pulling her urgent potty break stunt, if that helps, I went off to do my own shopping, as it seems they planned. I wouldn't have just gone then. Bruh.
Sorry.
Sorry I didn't check back in with you. I wasn't thinking and just tried to blow it off. We quietly took in their stories of what happened. Over to the side, Cove was talking to his dad. Thanks for telling me something was up though. I feel bad for missing the warning when you sent it.
You're welcome.
It's no trouble, sport. I learned my lesson about making surprise plans. Yay, Mr. Holden! Good job! Besides, I've got to register every thought that wanders through this head by you first, right? That sounds about right, yeah. I like that they put that in, like, because we already dealt with telling Cove's dad to not just make surprise plans. Now they're putting it in there. I like that. That is so sweet. Cove smiled at his dad. Mr. Holden, laughing, clapped Cove on the back.
Not bad.
Wow, we're really being outplayed today. You realize you hadn't been the only onlookers to the Holden's moment. Our moms were exchanging rueful looks. Liz had her arms crossed over her chest, patiently watching it all unfold. Yeah, looks like it. But better find some way to catch up.
In that case,
Maybe we can do various chores for next week. Yes, please! Mom jabbed Ma on the shoulder. You might be onto something. Vere, how did you like the sound of that? They looked at you hopefully. Make it 2 weeks? Less chores, the better. Mom laughed despite your totally serious words. I hear you. And at the very least, we can make sure everyone stays together for the rest of the stops we're making today. All nodded at the suggestion.
Yes.
We won't let you down. We'll be the best sheepdogs ever, guarding the flock and catching any strays. Cute.
funny.
We could at least be shepherds. You chuckled, your mood lifting in spite of the bumpy morning. It was going to be alright. You turned to the entrance to the farmer's market for one final glance, pressing it into memory under this new light. You thought on what you had picked up at the market and how you were going to enjoy it later. Oh, we could share! Yeah! Some things you could only get from local suppliers like this. That was another perk about coming along to the market today. Actually, you realized this would be a good time to bring out the fudge you got to share, while everyone was clustered together. Your attention, please! I have something for you all. The announcement grabbed everyone's interest, and they looked over at you, each curious about what you had in store. You dug your hand into the bag and pulled out a specially selected treat. It was this great fudge stall, and being so kind and generous, I got a box for all of us to try together. You know, as I hide my own box and a box for Cove. Ooh,
Aww.
that's so sweet of you. The Holdens were wearing matching grins as the prospect of free dessert, their family resemblance more notable as they mirrored each other's expression. Cute. Sweet is the right word for this. Thanks very much, Bere.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're fantastic.
Great! Can't wait to bust it open. We should save it for tonight. We can't properly enjoy a treat when there's still chores to be done. Besides, we don't want to make a mess with it melting in this heat. The others murmured their agreement and nodded, reaching a consensus. You stowed the box away safely for now. Cove then sidled up next to you, an eager smile on his face. You could tell from his expression that he was up to something. Thanks again for getting fudge. It was really cool of you. You knew he hadn't come over to just thank you individually, not with that huge smirk. Aw, sweetheart! I got something to share too. Well, only really with you. I guess I'm not as nice. Oh well. You've been plotting your own scheme? He laughed. Anyway, well, I sort of baked something out with you in mind. Baby! Honey! Held a hand to your chest, staring at Cove as he explained it further. Since your mom decided we should shop separately, I figured I could use the time to get you something, just as a little surprise. He reached into one of his bags and retrieved one of the wrapped up objects. You accepted the unexpected present, and he looked on excitedly as you tore the paper. It was a glass bottle of a small batch lemonade. You didn't need to taste it to know that it would be nice. It was a boutique product. What is a boutique product? What is that supposed to mean? Aw, baby! Honey! So cute. It was heavy in your hands, the container and smart metal cap reaffirming the quality. Even the label, constructed from coarse paper rather than a flimsy sheet of plastic, was distinctive. You were practically bouncing in anticipation, and he smiled sweetly at your reaction. It's not a big deal, but I just thought you might like it. I'm gonna flirt as hard as I can. You're so wonderful. We're a real pair. His eyes began to widen. I got something for you too, when you weren't around. There was a burst of laughter, first from your mom, followed by a chorus of chuckles from the other three. You had forgotten that they were still hanging around. Bro, just let us, just pretend you didn't see us. Go away. Unfortunately, they hadn't paid you and Cove the same courtesy, and I had been listening in to your conversation. You weren't even apart for the whole day. And you both still used that as a chance to get each other little gifts. Ma clasped her hands together, eyes bright.
Good job.
That's so lovely. A day? It was less than a whole morning. We actually went around together.
Right?
True, I don't even want to think about what happens when you spend real time apart. That's my boy. You reached back into the bag where you had first retrieved the box of fudge from everyone, shuffling it aside to take out the other one underneath. You smirked widely, amused that others were still watching you. The first box was for the rest of the people to split among themselves, but I got an extra special one all for you. Cove's face lit up, his grin stretching from ear to ear. The laughter that came from the others, who were fully tuned in to your little show, didn't appear to reach him.
Seriously?
Really? It's only for me? Cove reached out and took the box in both hands, holding it like a precious treasure. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Me? Real life reaction of me when I get fed food. He looked at you with shining eyes. At this rate, it wouldn't just be your little group that knew you had been treating him. The whole parking lot was going to learn about it. Behind Cove, you could see Mom watching you both with a smile of hilarity. See? This is why he's so attached. You spoiled him. You shouldn't make fun, Pam. It's clearly mutual. Vera is the cuteness, Matas and Risa. Thank you, Risa. You're so cute. Wait, has it been half an hour? Is it your bedtime, Risa? Besides, I don't hear you complaining when I'm spoiling you. Ma pinched Mom's cheeks, making her laugh as she batted her hand away.
True.
True. Liz claps her hand together with the air of a teacher calling for attention. Since the other adults aren't acting like grown-ups, the rest of us are going to have to pick up the slack. That's not the words I said. I see. Yup, it's time for bed. Night-night. Night-night, Risa. Thank you for coming. It was so sweet of you to come. It's time to get back on schedule and continue with the rest of the errands. Playtime is officially over. Mom laughed while Mr. Holden grinned awkwardly. Mom hung her head in an exaggerated display of mock defeat. Kids are tough, and I can't even call them kids anymore. Liz tut-tutted with amusement at her mother. Cove shrugged, staying a neutral observer, but the small smile on his face revealed that he was enjoying the conclusion. Sorry, that term has expired. Have a great stream, Vera. Thank you. Have a good sleep, Risa. Bye-bye. You grinned, letting them know that you were at least partly joking. Though really, you and Cove and Liz could hardly be called kids these days. You were glad that everyone was getting along. With that, your trip to the farmer's market was closed. It was time to move on. There were too many of you for one car, and Cove had wound up in Mr. Holden's car on the way over. Figured it made sense to do the same for the next leg of the journey. You sat next to Cove in the back. Immediately after the click of the seatbelt in its lock announced that Cove was safely strapped in, he began to unfold the box of fudge he had been given. You're gonna eat now? Uh-huh. He nodded eagerly, not taking his eyes from the container. He lifted the top off and longingly admired the selection inside. I knew he liked minty. I got him 2 minties because I'm a very good friend. I knew he would like minty. He's green. Minty fudge is perfect for the end of snacking. It's so refreshing. Is the green fudge lime? Yeah, key lime. That's amazing, because it's fudge, but also fruity somehow. They had one with caramel? Wow, it's gonna be so nice. That's peanut butter in there, right? It's chocolate with peanut butter mixed. Ooh, that's so good. Do you have flavor text for all the flavors? That's crazy. Once Cove had finished bestowing praise on what you had picked, he promptly started sampling the selection. He was smiling, licking his lips, and having a grand old time. Me when given food. You could tell from the way his nibbling was turning into munching that the box wasn't going to survive the trip to the next stop. You were right. Cove had tried to savor the treats, claiming just one more until there was only one left, and the statement was finally forced to be true. He finished the last one too. He is me, I am him, we are the same people. He sighed contentedly.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Rita. Those really were great. You're welcome. He set the picked clean box to the side, then rested his hand on his spoiled tummy. Cove wasn't going to be hungry for a while after that. From there, he sat wordlessly, gaze drifting to this window. He knew Cove well enough to spot the signs of when he was physically present but mentally elsewhere. The way he would fall quiet, staring without seeing, the long blinks, all of which he was doing right now as he was looking at nothing in particular. He licked his fingers absentmindedly, getting the last of the melted fudge off his hand. Is it... I would just bully him. I'm sorry, I'm a bully. Is it too late to ask for a taste? Cove straightened up at the sound of your voice. His voice stiff. He turned away, his hands smacking over to his mouth instead. You waggled your eyebrows at him jokingly. So, what were you so lost in thought about? Cove idly rubbed at his face. Honestly, I was just thinking about how nice it is to know you. It, makes my life better and everything. Though he was turned away from you, his eyes were round and sincere. Not that this is a new revelation, but today was another reminder. I'm lucky. Aw, baby, you're so cute, honey. I feel lucky too. He peeked at you from the corner of his eyes, still too shy to look at you directly. You smiled at him affectionately, eliciting an equally caring smile from Cove in return. You felt content, secure in your relationship with Cove. I'll drink it now too. You twisted off the cap and brought it to your mouth. Even before the first sip reached your lips, the scent tickled your nostrils. I thought it said noses and I got really confused. You took a swig. It was refreshing, the perfect way to hit the spot after a long morning trawling through the market. Not bad at all. Thanks, Cove. He grinned at you, pleased that his pick had been well received.
You're welcome.
I like how his dad is just in front watching us flirt. He spent the rest of the day completing the remaining errands all together as a group. You were glad that you had closed the day with everyone. Ma had been true to her words and ensured that you spent the rest of the time with the last family and the Holden family in one place. It had been a wonderful time, a lovely high note to end on. Yeah, time for me to go to the toilet and... Wait, no, I don't think I have enough time to do more, so I think this is all for the hour live stream, and we will be switching to Arya's story with Unlighted Stew. Wait. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I think that is all for our live today. After this, me and Unlighted are going to stream Arya story, and we're gonna try and finish all the endings today. I don't know how well we'll do it, but hopefully we can. So yeah, be right back. See you later.